Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining me. My name is Todd Bryson. I'm an Akashic Records practitioner. If you enjoy the content that I produce on my channel, a like on this video would go a very long way for me. I come today with information about what the ancient humans are doing, and I come with information about how they are contributing to our now, and what that means for the Ascension process and what that means for us individually who are kind of having this whole journey trying to figure it out. Before I get into that, I want to talk about some new things that I'm developing and some new things that I've brought forward recently. I created a new service called the Perspectives Call. And this is a chance for you and I to have more of a conversation in the time that we're together, to have more discussion and sharing of ideas and experiences. So when I'm in session opening the Akashic Records, it is a massive physical challenge. And by the time I get to those last 5 minutes where I'm not opening the records anymore and we can kind of have that discussion, I'm usually very tired and very exhausted, but want the conversation to continue. So this is a chance for you and I to sit in front of each other and to exchange ideas and experiences and perspectives, and to see what that contributes to our awakening experience. I also had a very interesting encounter in the Akashic Records that I want to talk to you about that, has led to a manifestation that I talked about last time, is kind of reaching the tipping points of the development and production process. I went into the records and I was given a vision of a mystery school, and I didn't get, the time of day, the date, the location that the vision was taking place in, but I know that it was a mystery school. And I know that the participants in the school were very young. I would say probably 8 to 15 years old. And I know that there was a teacher who was overseeing what happened in the classroom. So basically in this vision, the students were participating in meditation. There was absolutely no talking at all, and these students would sit in meditative states for hours and hours and hours and hours. I was one of the students in the vision, and what I was observing were students standing up out of that meditative position, and they would go to a chalkboard and they would start drawing things that they had seen in their inner world. And what the student would do is they would not say a word, they would go sit down, and the teacher would get up and go observe what it is that they saw, and would kind of formulate, this is the meaning, this is the symbolism, this is the message and the frequency that was being conveyed in that experience. And something that you guys should know, that those students have to maintain the ability to perceive miracles in every single moment. When I go into the Akashic Records and I observe a drop of water, what does that mean symbolically? What is the significance of this? If I'm not looking for miracles, if I'm not kind of geared and tailored to observe profundity within everything, that drop of water is just going to be another kind of like thought in the ocean. So I learned a lot about the Akashic Records just in that little experience and sitting with those students, and I was able to cultivate from that something that I'm gonna bring forward to you guys that I think is going to be really productive and spiritually fulfilling. And my intention for creating things like that, I struggle with the business, I struggle with the money aspect of this work that I do. All I'm really trying to do is be a match in a dark room. So it is just my intention to bring the resources forward and to help us gain traction in some of these intuitive processes. And I feel like I've come up with a very powerful, substantial way to do that. Okay, so let us get into the messages. Let us get into the awareness that has come through, that has been provided by the Akashic Records and the Galactic Federation of Light. You want to understand that as you continue your awakening, that you are truly multidimensional. That you're only pretending that you're stuck in this body. You're only pretending that you're a singular individual. And, your participation in this dimensional space is truly a multidimensional one. So what that means is that there are versions of you that are scattered all over the dimensional spaces and even linear space and time that hold the same awareness of what's taking place here on the earth, who are contributing to, the energies and the ascensions from their standpoint and point in time just as prominently as we are here today. So something that you should know about the Atlanteans and the Lemurians, that they were preppers. They were focused on preparation. They were diligently engaging in processes of keeping and safekeeping, the things that they had learned, the things that they had established, technology that they had developed. A lot of what the Atlanteans and the Lemurians discovered and the things that they kind of refined and developed, a lot of it is in the fourth dimension. A lot of it is time capsule to work its way back into the field of consciousness and energy strategically. So there are versions of you who are kind of tailoring energy and frequency to be compatible with this now that you're in, and to, provide resources for humanity that will help us wake up and will actually reintegrate some things that had been established very, very long ago that weren't necessarily supposed to be part of the separation. So on my channel before, we have talked about Atlantean time capsules. We've talked about encountering moments in linear time that are kind of tailored to trigger things forward that humanity might be missing. It can be physical things. It can be concepts, it can be context, it can be anything that will help trigger remembrance and awakening here on the earth, and to help create a consistent, development and progression in those aspects of this experience. So I have learned that some of the more substantial time capsules are going to be opening for us here in 2025. And I'm talking about ancient structures that have been hidden and that have been lost for even tens of thousands of years. I'm talking about old souls who are actually Atlanteans, who are waking up and remembering, gaining access to their things, gaining access to their knowledge, gaining access to their tools. We're talking about time capsules in data and information strategically being released into the consciousness field as a means of correcting human nature or establishing something harmonious that may be missing right now during separation. So there are time capsules that are opening pathways for unity, and some of the most important ones are opening 2025 and beyond. I want to let you know, if you're watching this video, that you're likely an integral component in establishing those time capsules. And maybe you're helping to facilitate the discovery and the awakening of them. So sometimes when we open the Akashic Records, we can learn about your aspect of that work. We can let you know about things that you're contributing from that standpoint in time. And, something that's interesting about being a multidimensional being, you could be anywhere in creation. You could be those ancient humans, you could be entirely in the future, you could be plugged in to a paradigm of energy and frequency that is completely individual and separate from, the physical experience that we're having here on the earth. I want to remind you that out of every experience in creation that would have been at your disposal, you chose to be here in this now moment, doing what it is that you're doing now. Let the work that you've done through space and time speak for itself, and allow your experience in these dimensional spaces and overcoming separation and moving into unity, bring an excitement into your awareness about what's going to occur here, because there's something here that you've come to see that you deemed more worthy of your awareness and attention than any other aspect of creation. So that should tell us, what's going on here is unprecedented, and we wanted to be here. We were willing to give up everything that we know. We were willing to give up and forget everything that we loved for the chance to create a version of ourselves here that would see creation and our participation within it a little bit differently. I have learned that a lot of the Lemurians Many of you listening to this are Lemurian and are Lemurian right now and are hearing me from both perspectives and point of views. A lot of the Lemurians who are the ones creating and who are responsible for the crop circles, they're changing the frequencies of their crop circles. They are integrating greater forms of complexity into the crop circles so that the impact of the vibration and the frequency that comes to them can be greater and more tailored specifically for components of this experience. So a lot of you want to know what the crop circles are, who's making them, where do they come from, and there's a lot of different parties that are making them. And a lot of times it is a collaborative effort, not just simply the Lemurians doing it individually, but they are accommodating the most important part of the experience, which is the physical aspect of the experience and the connection with the consciousness grid that allows for the care packages energetically to be sent forward in time and to manifest in the locations that they are. So the crop circles are going to be increasingly more complex, and this is something that we have done strategically, understanding that there's important things that we need to cultivate for humanity to help us re-engage with that unity. A lot of the Lemurians and Atlanteans right now are focusing specifically on cultural forgiveness assignments, meaning that you are working with cultures to implement aspects of forgiveness, helping culture move on from, the burdens of the past, beliefs that are limiting, conflict with other cultures and other kinds of people. The reason that the Lemurians and the Atlanteans are working on those kinds of things is because they already have the data and the programs for harmonious cultural interactions and engagements. Different people from different times and space coming together to share ideas and to do so openly and with a genuine interest in learning what it is that they have to offer and to provide. So there are, what do I get from going into the records and getting that kind of information? So that tells me that, first of all, there's a plan and there's a process that's unfolding from a variety of different levels and layers. But it also tells me that those ancient versions of us have kind of gained access to something. They can do more, they can send more, they can influence us more in a profound way. Humanity is carrying more light than it has before. It's going to be less likely to kind of be triggered into fear when some of these new things that we're learning come to the surface. Also want to let you know that a lot of the what are called drones, the UFOs, the UAPs, a lot of these things that we're seeing in the skies, they're not actually extraterrestrials. Like we said, some of them are, but we want to remember that the true nature of time and space is fluid, and we can move to and from different moments in time with our conscious intention and even with spiritual tools and technology. So a lot of these crafts that you see in the sky, it's actually ancient humans checking up on us, seeing the progression. Some of these craft in the sky might actually be future humans that are looking backwards, observing historical events, participating in a timeline that was maybe different than where they come from, but is still interesting and significant because it held so much of a weight toward what developed and manifested for them. So we want to remember that the Earth right now is a very busy place, and that your participation here is, developing, and so is your awareness of that participation. The more awakened you become, the more you remember, the more you let your curiosity drive the experience, the more you can start tapping into these multi-dimensional aspects of self and what it is that they're doing, because it's a lot of fun to do that. So something else that I wanted to throw in here really quick, as spiritual beings occupying a physical body, piloting this body in the third dimension for the sake of experience and perspective and the collection of data, I want to let you know that the Akashic Records has told me that the things that our body is needing and asking for are going to change. The nature of the body's wants and needs are going to change. So there are going to be some habits and some things that we've been participating in older energies that the body is less likely to bring around into our, into the forefront of our awareness. So some of you have been dealing with a body that is always asking for rest, or a body that's always asking for vices, or a body that's always asking for fuel sources that are maybe not appropriate or necessary for it to have access to. So the body is going to be less likely to engage in those things, and that is going to come from a recalibration of the cellular structure. And, the script that the physical body has is changing a bit so that it's going to be more empowered for new Earth activity rather than old Earth activity. The records did let me know that something that will very much help that process is listening to running water. Listening to running water has an influence on your cellular structure that is not always on the surface. Sometimes listening to running water can empower your cellular structure to activate or to focus on some systems of spiritual development that may be resource intensive or hard for it to do anyway. Anyway, I think I will stop there. Thank you very much, you guys. I look forward to bringing some things to you guys in the next few weeks. And if you're interested in a perspective call, let me know. Information in the description. Thank you very much. Goodbye.